Hello, and thank you for calling the Lessons in Wisdom call. My name is Issachar Bey. I am the Senior Director of the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center, and I want to welcome all of you to our Wednesday night call. We are now in the month of September, and the month of September is going to be a month for us that has us operating in the consciousness of prosperity. This is the month where we will continue to work on and elevate our consciousness in prosperity. For this is the month where we will move and operate. We will begin to create and stay in alignment with the consciousness of prosperity. Because as we connect and embrace that consciousness, we will begin to outpicture and put into consciousness into our physical reality. We will begin to see the effects of it. So as we are moving on, you will see that this month will be very, very expansive and very demonstrative of prosperity on Wednesday nights and on Sunday. So as we continue to move closer, as we continue to go week by week in our Millionaires of the Bible series, and also on Wednesday. So the whole month of September, we will be dealing with wealth, money, prosperity, and on Sundays we will continue to do but this month is about prosperity. If you get a chance to write in your journals, write down the word prosperity. Tonight, I want to talk. I think this is very ideal and key for us. I want to talk about how to remove the mental blocks that hinder money manifestation. I believe that everybody on this call is a magnet, and you only magnetize to you the very things that you are. And so if you are magnetizing drama, if you're magnetizing illness, if you are magnetizing defeat, loneliness, anything that's of discord, it's because that is the very thing that resides in you, because you can only attract what you are. In order for us to move a different way and begin to attract what it is that we want, we have to be able to remove the mental blocks. Because everything in this world is consciousness. Consciousness is everything. So I say this all the time. The only limitations that you will ever face in this world, the only lack, loss, or limitation that you will ever encounter is the lack, loss, or limitation of your mind. Everybody on this call that's listening to this call, you are a mind. Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. You are a mind. So what that means is everything must be operated and may be done in mind, in consciousness. So in order for me to manifest money, I have to first become money. And so this month, we're going to really get into that, because this is what I'm finding out. I'm finding out that people are connected to the results of money. They are connected to the effects or the afterthought of money, because we see the cars, the houses, the clothes, we see the lavish lifestyles. Those are the effects of money, right? But money is just a tool. And I think that the reason why we are fascinated with money because of what it allows us to do. It gives us the freedom. It gives us the ability to do things that we normally couldn't do, right? The Bible says that money answereth all things, right? So we understand the importance of money. We understand that money is all. The Bible also says that money is a defense, right? And we can see how that happened going back to the O.J. Simpson case, where O.J. was very wealthy, and so he was able to actually hire a great legal team. The Bible says money is a defense, and he was able to hire a defensive law team that was able to actually go with him and actually allow him to defend and win his case, right? Money is a tool. When we look at the confines of money, we're looking for freedom. We're looking for we're looking for the way of how to operate money, how to connect with money. I think the most important thing is our relationship with money, to become one with it. And in order to become one with money, we got to remove the blocks, the stereotypes, the indwelling blocks that we may have against money. Because many of us may say, you know what, I would love to be rich one day. I would love to be a millionaire. I would love to have, more money than I can spend. I would love to have my cup running over. These are the things that we would like. But in your mind, do you actually believe that it's possible? What are your money hangups? Maybe growing up, you felt that you weren't good enough. Maybe you felt that, only certain people was able to get large amounts of money, and maybe that you weren't. And maybe you feel like everybody else is better than you and you're not as good as everybody else. And we have these little hangups. But these are mental blocks that must be removed, because once these mental blocks are removed and we become one with money, it's impossible for money not to show up. Because you never get out of life what you want. You only get out of life what you become. We've been on this journey. Right now, we're in the second book. We've been operating in a millionaire consciousness. You don't become a millionaire by just going through the motions. You become a millionaire in consciousness first, and then as you operate in that consciousness, what happens is the imagination begins to make it your reality. And we're going to talk a little bit about that this month. I've been really working with some great tools that we have been learning from Neville Goddard, and I recommend that all of you who are listening, if you ever want to read anything great, he's one of my favorite authors within metaphysics and also about manifestation. You want to get anything about Neville Goddard. He's one of the greatest metaphysical teachers of our time, and his books and his teachings are phenomenal. Now, I wanted to read a scripture. This is Matthew 25:29, right? For unto everyone that hath, it shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that have not shall be taken away even that which he hath. Let me read that to you again and explain to you what that means. For unto everyone that have shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that have not, shall be taken away even that which he has. What that literally means is that everyone that have in consciousness, it shall be given to you in your physical reality. And to him that have not, to the ones that don't have it in consciousness, it shall be taken away, even though they have it in the physical reality. So you see here, when you see people who have something, we call them these Instagram, social media people that are portraying these lifestyles, that are portraying these facades of being rich, famous, successful. or pretty much making it seem that they are at that level when consciously they're not. So even though they may appear to have those things in the physical reality, if you don't have it in consciousness, you can't have it in the physical reality. And even if you don't have it in consciousness, but you may have obtained it physically, it will be taken away. Why? Because the law says that you can only have what you are. When we talk about prosperity, we're talking about the scripture that says, I wish above all that you prosper, be in good health, even as your soul prospers, right? To have an abundant outcome, to operate in abundance, to operate to where every need is met. Because this is the thing too. Money answers all things, but there's more to life than just money. And I think one of the greatest things that we all miss is that everybody wants money. Everybody wants money. I was actually watching, I love to watch this show called The Prophet. It's a guy by the name of Marcus. And what he does is he goes around and he finds businesses that need financial help and may need structure. And so he may go to a business that's struggling and say, hey, look, let's sit down, let's look at the financials. How could I help? I want to be an investing partner. So he finds out what's going on and he invests his own personal money into this business to get it back up growing, to get it back on its feet. And I watched the show yesterday, and one of the guys had a bakery. He was doing sweet potato pies. And these pies were very good. The business was doing pretty good. One of the things that attracted Marcus to this guy was in 2019, he made $20,000 selling the pies. But in 2020, he made $102,000 selling the pies. And so Marcus says to him, how are you able to make $100,000 or $80,000 more selling your pies in 2020 during the pandemic? And he was telling them, by ways we were able to, go to the mail the pies out, send them to the local restaurants or whoever was selling them, and he was able to do that. So the gentleman asked him for $1 million, and he said, what do you need $1 million for? He says, well, I feel like $1 million will be suffice to help us out in our business and so forth. So Marcus says to him, well, I'm willing to invest $50,000. And so Marcus asked him, well, what are you going to do with the $50,000 when I give it to you? And he couldn't answer him. So he says, how is it that you're going to tell me you need $1 million when you can't even tell me what you're going to do with the $50,000? Right? So I think that one of the most important things when we get into creating money and manifesting money and becoming a money magnet and so forth is the wisdom of what to do with money is the most important thing. Not just getting the money, but what to do with the money when you get it, how to be wise and operating and using money. So I think that's very key. I wanted to talk about tonight the various ways to remove the mental blocks that hinder your money manifestation. If we're going to be dealing with prosperity this month, I want to be able to get in to how we are going to remove these mental blocks. Now, once we begin to move these mental blocks, we are going to find that a lot of things in our lives will begin to change. Because you got to realize this. Always remember this. Whenever you do a change inside yourself, there's always a change outside. My father used to tell me that when a woman changes her hair, it's usually that there's a major change going on in her life. If she has long hair and she cuts all her hair off, or if she has short hair, she lets her hair grow, she changes the color, she does something drastic. Whenever there's a drastic change on the outside, it's usually an indication that something happened within, right? When you begin to remove these blocks, these mental blocks, and you begin to move them, what happens is there's going to be a major shift that will happen in your physical reality by way of you making things happen inwardly. It's inside out, not outside in. And so the first block that I want to talk about tonight is the lack of ability to organize. That's the first block that we want to deal with tonight, is the lack of those that lack the ability to organize. If you feel like your life is all over the place, you feel like, when I wake up every day, it seems like whatever happens just happens. It seems like, this could happen this day, this can happen that day. You're just in a position where whatever happens, happens. If it's my day, it's my day. If it's a good day, if it's a bad day. We're not so much into how we treat life. We're more into how life treats us. Hey, whichever way the wind blows, so to speak. If you're going to be a person that's going to be operating in prosperity and manifesting money, you got to be in a position to be organized. And what that means is I would start organizing my days. We're in September, the first month, right? We're in the first day of September. So what I would do is I would begin to operate and say that we got the word last week that we need to start planning for 2020, right? So and also in relation to that, you want to start organizing your day. You want to say, okay, I may go to work from this time to this time. I'm going to set aside a time to focus on my goals, focus on what it is that I want to do. You got to realize everything needs to be in order and in structure. You can give yourself time to watch TV. You can give yourself time to read magazines, read a book, audio book. Start writing down and look how you're utilizing your time, because time is an investment. Time is the only thing that can't be replaced. Some people always say time is money, money is time, right? But if you can focus your time and look at where you're spending the day at and how to restructure, organize, and prioritize, you will begin to see that this is almost the key thing that needs to be done, is to be able to organize. Because when you organize internally, you will see what happens in your physical reality. When people come to me and want a one-on-one consultation, or I'd also do life coaching and so forth, and I sit down with a client and they say, oh, my life is a mess. Oh, it's all over the place. This is happening. I feel like everything that I touch is falling apart. My whole life is falling apart. I say, sit down, relax. I said, so give me your day-to-day. Tell me what happens. And as they're telling me what happens, they're all over the place because there's no structure. There's no inward structure. There's no inward organization. So there's no inward structure, no inward organization. There's no prioritizing inwardly. It's a direct indication of what's happening on the outside. In order for us to be money magnets and to be able to manifest money, we got to have organization. We got to have structure. We got to be able to prioritize and put things into perspective. Number 2, we have to be able to exercise humility. And what I mean by humility, this is key. One of the things dealing with life, we can't be know-it-alls, because of what we read, or because we have a degree, or because I've been doing this for 30 years, and we just have this facade that nobody can tell us anything, that we know everything, and that our way is right, and you've done it this way, and people that did it this way. So we have to be humble, because in order for us to become money magnets, we have to be able to be adaptable. This goes back to last Sunday's Millionaire the Bible series. You guys may want to take a look at that and listen to it on our YouTube page, that deals with the Beatitudes, right? Being adaptable, being teachable, right? Because in order for me to begin to have this change and remove these mental blocks that I have, I gotta have some form of humility. I can't be arrogant, conceited. I can't think that I know it all, because that's a block that's hindering me from manifesting money, because nobody can tell me anything. I know everything. I don't want to listen to anybody. I think that, I have the best opinion, that my word is better than everybody else's. You have to have a sense of humility to be able to be teachable, to be coachable, to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to sit down and listen and say, you know what, maybe I don't know it all. Maybe I don't have all the answers. Maybe there is another way for me to get to the place that I need to get to. So let me be humble, and let me be teachable. Let me be coachable. Let me listen, as not so much talking all of the time, but let me be more of a listener and a receiver, and begin to change my mental philosophy, mental thought pattern, so that I can now put myself in a position to become a money magnet and begin to manifest money. Number 3 is coming to the notion that millionaires are not made by what they know. Millionaires are made by what they do. And what I mean by that is that we have to be cautious of not just having the knowledge. So what I mean by this is, knowledge is not power. Because we know a lot of things and we have knowledge of a lot of things, that's wonderful. But applied knowledge is power. You knowing how to invest in stocks, how to invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and how to do NFTs, and how to get into index funds, and all of those wonderful things. You knowing how to do it is great. It's wonderful that you know how to do it. But until you physically do it and apply it, it means absolutely nothing. And so the knowledge gives you the access. It gives you just that, the knowledge, right? But we can't get caught up in just the knowledge of it, but being able to utilize that knowledge, being able to apply it, puts us in a position to where we are able to to do that. I believe that the key to wealth is not just having the knowledge, but the ability to apply that knowledge that you have obtained. So it's about the application of it, being able to apply it. And that, what that does is, it gives you the level of confidence to overcome the insecurity that you may have, and also to say, I trust that what I'm doing is in alignment with everything that I'm going for. I'm in the right alignment. I'm in the right organizational structure, and I'm humble enough to be coached, to be teachable, and I'm willing to learn. The fourth one, and this one I found to be very interesting. This one says the fourth block will be the fear to take over. Will always keep you in a state of failure. You will eliminate your ability to duplicate or to mentor, right? In order to get where you need to go, you need to find a mentor. This is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I feel like I'm teaching myself tonight. If you want to get to where you need to go, you need to get a mentor. You need to get somebody who's already there where you want to go, right? You need to find you a mentor, find you somebody that can guide and lead you to the place where you want to go. And then you need to find some people under you that you can mentor. So we look at Jesus, right? Jesus did not spend any time with the multitude. He was busy pouring himself into his disciples. And he says, if you're not pouring yourself into anyone, you are selfish. That what is salvation is all about. Jesus served you so that you would go out and make disciples. Right? Don't be afraid to get a mentor, somebody that can pour into you, that can teach you and guide you into whatever circumstance or situation that you're going in. You guys are stepping into entrepreneurship and you're going into a certain niche. I would find somebody who's very successful in that niche, and I would find me a mentor. I would find me a coach, somebody that can mentor and coach me in the specific area that I'm dealing in. If it's finances, it's finance. If it's business, if it's whatever niche that you're in. But at the same time, you also want to make yourself available to mentor somebody else, because you want to be able to pour yourself into somebody else. Number 5 is going to be one of the classical favorites would be the lack of imagination. You have to be able to use your imagination. Your imagination, as they say, is the beginning of creation, right? It is the most powerful thing. So I'll say this. The imagination is so powerful. One of the things that I've been looking at this week, I think I'm going to put this video, I'm going to put the link to this video that I'm talking about right now on the YouTube page for this particular talk, this particular call tonight. So tonight you guys will be able to look at the call, this call tonight on our YouTube page. There's a video that this young man is talking to his grandfather. His grandfather was a student of Neville's, and so he tells his grandson the story. He says, one day I was in California many years ago, and I was trying to go after this woman. I was chasing this woman, and she told me to meet her at this auditorium in Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. It was this guy named Neville was doing the teaching. So he says, well, you know, I pretty much thought that the guy Neville was a con artist, you know, just trying to get people's money. And so he said, I went to the meeting, and Neville began to teach and this and that. And Neville says, I want you guys to do a experiment. He says, I want you to, when you go home, I want you to write on your wall, I will not climb a ladder. I want you to put, I will not climb a ladder on your wallet. He says, everywhere in the house that you normally go, I just want you to hang up on a wall that I will not climb a ladder. And Neville tells him, he says, but then every night for 3 nights, when you go to sleep, I want you to imagine yourself climbing a ladder. So as you're falling off to sleep, I want you to just imagine yourself climbing a ladder. But when you wake up in the morning, you're going to see the sign that says, I will not climb a ladder. I will not climb a ladder. So the gentleman, his grandfather, is saying to the woman, this guy, Neville, is absolutely crazy. This guy's off the charts. Like, how is he going to tell us that to put these signs all over the house saying that we will not climb a ladder, but then he wants us to imagine ourselves climbing a ladder as we fall asleep? So the man says, okay, you know what? I'll do it. You know, just to prove that it's BS, I'll do it. So the first night, the man falls asleep, imagining himself climbing a ladder. He wakes up in the morning. He has I will not climb a ladder on his wall. He says when he opens his wallet, he has it right in his wallet. So he constantly sees the writing that says, I will not climb a ladder. He does it the second night. The second night, he goes to sleep. He imagines himself climbing a ladder, going up the ladder, coming down the ladder, going up the ladder. This is what happens as he falls asleep. He's constantly, in his imagination, imagining himself climbing the ladder. So he wakes up the next morning. He sees the signs all over the house that says, I will not climb the ladder. The third night, he does it again. And this time, he gets a call from his mother. And right before he gets the call from his mother, he remembers that Neville said, next Sunday, I'm having a special meeting for all of those who are going to be disobedient to me and climb the ladder. Because I told all of you, don't climb the ladder. But for those of you that disobey me and actually climb the ladder, I'm having this private meeting just for those. So the grandfather goes to his mother's house, and his mother says, hey, you know, I need you to go to the store for me, you know, pick up some things. He goes to the store for his mother. He comes back. When he comes back, he says, hey, Ma, where's Dad at? So she says, oh, Dad is in the backyard fixing some stuff. So he goes in the backyard, and his father was on the roof fixing the roof. So he says, hey, Dad. So his father says, hey, son, could you pass me the paint? So the grandfather at this time is saying, before he knew it, he was halfway up the ladder giving his father the paint. The moral of the story is Neville was trying to prove to them that no matter what you have on your wall, no matter how many times you see it said in the physical reality, don't climb the ladder, what goes on in your imagination will always trigger and play out in your physical reality. And what Neville was saying was, every time you go to sleep imagining the very thing that you want to do, it will happen in your physical reality. It's removing the mental block of not being able to use your imagination. Everybody on this call tonight, if you go to bed tonight imagining that you want a house, or not imagining that you want the house, but start imagining yourself in the house that you want, or start imagining the car that you want to drive, that you are already driving it. So as you're going to sleep, you're imagining yourself in the car driving it. The same grandson, let me tell you this video, which was amazing too, and I'll put this video in there too so you guys can take a look at the videos. The grandson said that, he said, you know what, I want to try this Neville technique to see if it works. So what he did was, he said for a few nights, he imagined himself counting $10,000 in cash. He would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He would count 10 stacks of $1,000. And he said that he imagined himself counting out this money every night before he went to sleep. In his imagination, as he began to fall asleep, he would imagine himself counting the $10,000. He said that, you know, after a few days, you know, nothing happened. So he said he went to the bank to take care of some funds and move some money around and do some different things. And while he was online, there was a man that tapped him from behind and said, hey, excuse me, sir. He said, yeah. He said, look, I'm not able to see that well, and I'm getting ready to make this deposit. I wanted to know, could you help me? I wanted to know, could you help me count this money? So the man behind him hands him $10,000, and he starts counting out the money just the way that he imagined. But here's the thing. He says in the video that everything that he imagined, it took place and happened in the physical reality The only difference is he didn't have ownership of it because it wasn't his $10,000. It was the man's $10,000 who was standing behind him. So he went back in and he redid the imagination technique, but this time it was the ownership of his money. So he said that a couple of days passed again, and he ended up doing a job helping out some people with a boat. And he said that there was like a, pretty much an offer. He gave me an offer. I counter-offered. He gave me another counter-offer. And then basically they worked out a deal where the man paid him $10,000, and he gave it to him in cash. So him imagining himself with the $10,000 actually worked. So another thing you have to realize, too, is that when you do these imagining things, what happens is the universe will create the situations and the circumstances for you to begin to manifest. He didn't worry about how the $10,000 was going to come to him. He didn't look and say, oh, is it going to come from this? Am I going to get, money from this way? He just imagined himself counting $10,000 in cash, $1,000 in 10 pounds. And when he began to do that for a couple of nights, as he began to do that, his imagination took that and said, oh, this must be true. This must be real. And so these are the things that have to happen if we're going to utilize and become money magnets. We have to begin to utilize our imagination. It's a technique that I would advise everybody on this call start doing. Try it out. For the rest of this week, going into this Labor Day weekend, try to, every day before you go to sleep, imagine yourself doing something, being and doing whatever it is that you want. Some of you may say, I've always wanted to go to Greece. I've always wanted to go somewhere. I always wanted to have this, or I wanted to do this. Imagine yourself being, doing, and having the very thing that you want as you begin to fall asleep, and watch what happens in your physical reality. So we begin to utilize and understand overcoming the lack of using our imagination. The next one is procrastination, right? Procrastination is sometimes called the thief of time. We got to be able to remove procrastination out of our mental span, because procrastination, well, now I'm talking to myself here because I'm one of the biggest procrastinators when it comes to me personally. Now, when it comes to helping everybody else, I'm on point. I can help everybody. I'm on point. But when it comes to me personally, it's like, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now turns into 3 months from now. So we got to get out of the procrastination phase of not allowing procrastination to hinder us. Removing the self-doubt, removing the mindset that I can do it later, maybe it's a little too difficult, whatever the excuses that we give ourselves, we got to be able to remove the mental block of procrastination. Because as we said in the month of last month in August was the month of action, taking action. And this month we're moving into prosperity. We're operating in a level of prosperity consciousness, right? So we want to be able to move procrastination out, which means that we want to be able to operate and move accordingly. We don't want to have to procrastinate and wait and linger for things that we don't need to. So we got to be able to remove the procrastination. And of course, as we said, the number one thing was the organization, the discipline, the structure. When you begin to organize the discipline and structure, you kind of are in a position where you can, it makes it so much easier to remove the procrastination, because you actually are able to see and utilize how you are moving and elevating in becoming a money magnet and magnetizing money into your life. Because the money that you are trying to manifest this is one of the things that I love too. All the money that you need or that you're going after is actually trying to come to you. Everything that you need is already within you. Once you tap into it on the inside, you begin to activate it, and it becomes now, it now begins to manifest in your physical reality. Everything that you're going after is actually coming after you. Now, the one thing that I have to say about this, and this is amazing when I look at this, there is no shortage of money. When you leave this world, you can't take it with you. Money is a physical specimen, right? It's a physical thing. There is no shortage of money. Money is moved and circulated from one place to another, but there is no shortage of it. What we have to find out is how to manifest it and magnetize it to ourselves. But there is no shortage. And so these things that we're discussing tonight are ways of how we can remove the mental blocks that maybe have been hindering us from actually manifesting and magnetizing the money that we need in our lives. The next thing is the lack of persistence, consistency, right? Being persistent. Some people give up too quickly. You do not let things linger. You can't quit quickly. You gotta, winners never quit, quitters never win, right? You can't give up. You can't throw in the towel. You got to be persistent. You got to have a persistent level of consciousness. And if you know where you're going and you're operating in purpose and you're operating in your destiny, and so this is where the self-evaluation comes in. Who am I? Where am I going? We have to get into a place where we're beginning to operate and utilize and find a level of self-awareness. When I ask you who you are, I'm not asking you who you are for you to tell me your name. Because even when you tell me your name, I want to know who you are. Your name is your nature. We've seen it plenty of times in the Bible where names begin to change. Saul became Paul, Abram became Abraham. Your name is your nature. But in your name, that's why when we begin to get into the millionaires of the Bible series, you begin to see that whenever there's a new name of a mountain or a name of a land or a country, that name means something. Your name is your nature. So when I ask, who are you, it's not just what your name is, but who are you? What's your nature? And when you begin to understand who you are in nature, who you are, and you begin to come to that level of self-awareness, that self-awareness gives you a level of self-direction. And you will begin to discover, why am I on this planet? They say the two most important days of your life is the day that you were born and the day that you discover why you were born. So we got to be in a place where we're persistent, that we don't throw in the towel, we don't let ourselves get connected, or we don't let ourselves be boggled down or tossed to the side by things that we feel are not going the way that it should go. Remember, as within, so without. You guys have a very critical key tonight, because you have the key to manifesting. Go into the inner theater of your mind and begin to imagine yourself as you go to sleep, being, doing, and having the very things that you want to manifest. Another thing that we need to remove is self-control, the lack of self-control. You got to be able to control your mind, because anytime there's a lack of self-control, that means there's a lack of mental control. A man is a sum total of his thoughts, right? So if you're out of control, that means you have there's no mental structure, there's no mental control, because a man is his mind. Self-control. I'll tell you about self-control. I would say back in 2015, 2014, I met a man by the name of Dr. Sebi. Those of you, he's what we would call one of the health gurus. He was actually a herbologist, known for healing AIDS and many different things. He's since passed away. But when I met him, I began to change my course of things. And so he told me, he says, you need to go on a fast. I said, well, how long should I go on a fast? And he said, maybe 10, 20 days. Just go on a liquid fast. And so he told me some different things, herbs I needed to take, so forth. The burdock root, yellow dock root, dandelion root, just different herbs that was good for me. Sea moss, bladderwrack, all those different things. So anyway, I said to myself, I'm going to do a 30-day juicing fast. We're talking about self-control. Now, I'm a person that ate everything, pizza, burgers. I just said to myself, I'm going to go through the motion. I'm going to do this. I actually set off to do 30 days, but during this time, I went 60 days with no food. Yes, Issachar Bey went 60 days with no food. To be honest, maybe the first 4 days was the most difficult. And then it seems like after the first 4 days, everything was cruise control. So now I was juicing, and I was running to Jamba Juice and Smoothie King, and I was going back to those places. And if I didn't feel like juicing, I would run to Jamba Juice to get my juice every morning, and I would get one in the afternoon, and I was doing my juices. And Dr. Sebi said to me, he says, you don't have to juice all the time. I have a product called Green Food Plus. Everything that you're going to get out of juicing, you can get out of the Green Food Plus pills. You just take the pills and drink water. So I was trying to drink a gallon of water every day to stay hydrated. But the reason I'm telling you the story is because it was absolutely, before I thought about it, impossible for me to go 4 or 5 days without eating. Here it is. I went 60 days with no food. During this time, I was working in Las Vegas. I was a supervisor at MGM, doing security for the Wet Republic pool. The Wet Republic pool is basically like a nightclub, but outside. So it's like a pool party in Vegas during the summertime, 105, 110 degrees. So here it is. I'm running around, not having eaten for 30, 45 days. I'm running around in the heat of 110 degrees. I'm feeling great. My skin was glowing. My eyes were sharp white. I mean, it was amazing, the health things that were happening to me. But at the same time, everybody else on the outside thought I was crazy. So I said to myself, if I can go 60 days without eating, then I can become a vegan. That means I can leave meat alone. because I've showed the discipline that I can not eat for 60 days. I know I can go without eating meat. So I say that to say this, that willpower or that discipline for me to go that long had to start from within. It wasn't an outside-in situation. I had to eternally go within to deal with that and make that decision to go that long without eating, which actually benefited me greatly, because people always say, well, if I don't eat, I'm going to die. And that's not necessarily true, because it was actually the best time of my life. It was almost like I hit the reset button. I ended up losing a whole lot of weight. Some people didn't even recognize me because I had started it. I'll never forget. It was a Super Bowl Sunday. It was in February. The pools didn't open till like end of March, going into April. So nobody had seen me then. So by the time I showed up, everybody was like, "Oh man, dude, I didn't even recognize you." That's how much weight I had lost. But the thing about it was that to me, it wasn't just about that. It was more about the ability to say that I had control, mind over matter, that my body didn't control me and tell me, oh, I need sugar, oh, I need this, oh, I need this. But I was able to now have control over my whole body. And I was being able to tell my body that, no, we're not going to put anything solid for 60 days. So, being able to have control has to be coming from a mental standpoint. And you got to be able to deal with yourself in that aspect of finding the control, because once you have control over yourself, you have control over your life, over your world. I didn't reach outside of myself to get control or to let something outside of me have control, but I had physical control because I was able now to get myself to a place where I was able to utilize that. And I think that's very important, that we find the place to find control, to control over our minds, control over our bodies, control over everything. I can't have control over my finances. I can't have control over my household. I can't have control over my spirituality. I can't have control over my health. I can't have control over anything if I don't have control over myself, my mind. I must have self-control. And these are the things that will hinder us from being in or blocking us from our money manifestation. I'm becoming a money magnet, right? And the last one that I want to talk about real quickly, this is also key too. Being in the wrong location can hinder you from becoming a money magnet, from manifesting money. And what I mean by being in the wrong location, this is what I mean. The wrong calling, the wrong line of work. If you do not love what you do, you will not be successful. 80% of the people on their jobs are on their jobs that they hate. And they just go to work for a paycheck. But being in the wrong location means that you could be in the wrong calling. You could be doing the wrong line of work. That can be a hindrance. So you need to find your calling. Find out what's the right line of work you need to be in. What's the right location you need to be in. Because you want to be in the right location, in the right place at the right time to meet the right people. And we want to be able to love what we do. They always say if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right? we got to really get to a place where we get to a self-evaluation. Because a lot of us, we just want to, I don't want to survive. A lot of people are surviving. They're just surviving. You want to get out of survival mode and you want to get into living. Because everything is consciousness. Even if I gave you $1 million, if you're still in a survival consciousness mode, you're going to be living like you're surviving, even with $1 million. Survival mode is a level of consciousness. We need to get out of that. We need to remove that level of consciousness and shift and move into a place of living, not existing, but living. What that means is that I tell life how I want to live. I don't allow life to tell me how to live. And because of that, I have to put myself in a better position. I want to change my location. A lot of us have had a lot of dreams and goals that we've put to the side. We put on the back burner. Oh, well, I was going to do this, but then I got pregnant and I had, I got married. I had a baby, this and that. We moved. I was going to do this and that, but now I'm taking care of my mom. She's sick. I'm taking care of my parents. My husband's parents are sick. I'm helping him take care of his parents. So all of these things are reality, right? But we still need to be in the right location. Don't let the things that are going on in life hinder you or stop you from manifesting and becoming a money magnet. But make sure that you are in the right location. Make sure you're in the right calling. Make sure that you're doing the right line of work. We're living in a day and time now. No more brick and mortar, click and order. We got to make sure that we are doing everything digitally. Everybody's on their phones all the time, which means that your phone is now your business, your office. Everybody on this call should be making money on their phone. We have it now. We send documents. People are signing documents on the phone. People are doing all business is done on the phone. Your products, your digital products, things that you sell, everything, you go on Amazon, you order on your phone. Everything is done on the phone. So your phone needs to be a money maker. You need to be making money on your phone. And as we move into this month of September, our month of prosperity, as we continue to embrace the consciousness of prosperity in this month, I believe that a lot of us are going to have great testimonials of how we were able to demonstrate our level of prosperity, how we were able to demonstrate. Now, I say this all the time. Let us continue to expound and continue to elevate our health consciousness. Make sure that we're building our immune systems, that we are continuing to take the necessary things, get the sunlight that we need, making sure that we get the sunlight. That sunlight is also a great source of vitamin D, which helps to build our immune system. So let's make sure that we are getting that out. I'm going to. There's many of you that have so many things going on. Maybe next week I want to be able to go through some of the companies and different things that many of you are involved with that may be able to help us with building our immune system. Also, just many different things that are going on that can be helpful to us. So I want to definitely talk more about that as we continue. But every week I want to just insinuate and just continue to impress upon you how imperative it is that we build our immune systems, that we keep building our immune systems. We're already in the month of September. We're getting into the season of fall. We know that this is the season where a lot of people, because of the change of the weather, people start getting colds, the flu, so forth. So we want to be able to build our immune systems because we want to stay strong. Remember, it's inside out, not outside in. So as we continue to work on that and continue to move with that, we will be able to allow our immune systems to stay strong, and we will be able to go and make it through this season that we are in. I want to thank all of you for being a part of this call tonight. I hope that you got something out of this call. I'm just excited about this. Next week, we're going to be dealing with the 10 key prosperity principles. So like I said, we're going to be dealing with that. And I'm just excited about this month. So definitely, those of you that are getting great insight, wisdom, knowledge, applying these precepts, these concepts to your life, and getting great results, I just want you to invite or turn it over to 5 of your friends that you know and say, hey, listen, I have this call that I'm getting on every week. It's absolutely wonderful. Listen to this call. You need to hear this call. It's definitely life-changing. So we're definitely excited about that. We're working with the Mastermind Seed on tonight, which is $11.11. Yes, 1111, right? 1111 is that master number. It's the number of mental structure, right? It's the number of mental organization. It's the number that allows us to be able to tap into our intuitive being inside, the God in us, and begin to elevate and begin to expand our consciousness so that we can become masterminds. Because in order to become a master manifester and a master money magnet, I need to become a mastermind first, because there's no separation between me and my mind. We are one. And so I want to give you the ability to sow on tonight. Those of you that will sow the $11.11, there are 4 ways that you can sow that seed. The first way is going to be Cash App, which is going to be TOE, $TOESC, Temple of Enlightenment Spiritual Center. And then also you can do PayPal, which is going to be Issachar Bey, ISSACHARBEY @gmail.com. We also have Zelle, which is also going to be Issachar Bey, ISSACHARBEY @gmail.com. And then we also have Venmo, which is going to be at Issachar, ISSACHAR-BEY. And so those are the 4 ways that you can sow your mastermind seed on tonight. Those of you that want to sow more than that, you're very well open to sow that. We believe in circulation. We believe that what we release will circulate back to us 100-fold return. We also believe and know that we do not spend money, because in the word spend is the word in, but money is currency and it's designed to move, circulate. So we operate in circulation, which means that whatever we release out of our hands will circulate back to us 100-fold return. And I just want to speak that prosperity blessing, that you would have more money than you can spend, more money to enjoy, more money to live. And I want to thank you once again. I want to ask that you join us on this Sunday, the Millionaires of the Bible series. We will be going into chapter 5, and we will be discussing prosperity from the Lord's Prayer. So those of you that Want to get in on this. This is good stuff now. We're in a good book, and we're really learning a lot. I'm excited about where we're going in this month of September, and we are excited. Once again, I want to thank all of you who have sowed the seed. I appreciate you, and I want you to know that God will not only bless the gift, but he will bless the giver, that everything your hands touch will begin to manifest, and you will begin to get 100-fold return on that which you release. And so we speak it into existence. I want to say this one thing before we leave. Your destiny is not a matter of chance, but it's a matter of choice. Thank you, and good night.